Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this is a special ranking episode that I always like to do at the end of each of my series for Welcome to the Wasteland. Yes, I have reached the end of my Wes Anderson series, and it only took a fourth of the time that it took me to do my John Ford one. And joining me is my friend Adam, who's a member of the SPDM crew and part of our SiftPop crew. That's how we met before originally. And we're going to be ranking our Wes Anderson films. But Adam, thank you so much for coming on.
Mate, it's a pleasure as always. Joy to be here.
So, what we're going to do is Adam's going to go from bottom to top through his films. We'll talk a minute or two about each of the films and through his ranking. And then when Adam's done, I'm going to go through my ranking. I'm going to include all 20 films that I covered on my series, including all the shorts. Adam's going to include what he's seen and wanted to include specifically. So, Adam, let's start from the end. So, what's at the bottom of your Anderson list?
So I am just ranking his feature films. I'm not
Okay.
doing the Roald Dahl shorts he did recently, which are all great. So I would find it impossible to squeeze them in amongst the features
Mhm.
and whatnot. I also have not seen the Phoenician Scheme yet, Shane. So I am starting from the bottom, and I expect a lot of hate mail from my list here, to be honest, because maybe not for the top two or three, but certainly for the lower ones. Number 11 on my list is The French Dispatch. I don't vibe with I like and look, to caveat this, these are all films at least 3 stars and above. I think
Yeah.
every Wes Anderson film is good to spectacular.
Mhm.
So The French Dispatch for me is the worst of a good bunch.
Yeah.
It's a very good film, but it's a bit more disjointed, I think, than Wes's other stuff that I don't gel with it as much. I have seen it a couple of times, so French Dispatch is 11th. I'm not sure if you want to comment on any of
Yeah.
these as we go.
This is honestly one of my lowest feature films
Mm.
too. I there's elements of this film that I really love. I love the chase, that like Tintin-esque animated chase sequence towards the end is fantastic. I love the Owen Wilson sequence where he's like
Mhm.
just going through the city and stuff like that. The middle one I don't love. That one I struggle with a bit. And then I do really like that dynamic between Benicio del Toro and Leah Seydoux.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like Adrian Brody thrown in there as like a complete ass. And he
yeah.
plays an ass so well in Wes Anderson movies.
So that middle segment is that's the Chalamet Frances McDormand one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the one I remember the most about this film, but it's also the part of it I again like you like the least in that film. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's strange. Like I remember it the most. Maybe it is because I like it the least. I don't know.
There's something about it just sticks around.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next is something I rewatched because it was a long time ago. I watched this. I watched it in the last few days. Was the Royal Tenenbaums again? Really like Royal Tenenbaums. I think it's great. I'm not a fan of Gwyneth Paltrow, but I think she's really good in this. I think
Mhm.
it's the best I've known her. Not that I seek out her movies that often, but yeah, The Tenenbaums is again, it's a film about regret. It's a film
Mhm.
about you know. I do have it noted here, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. I thought I wrote good words on that. About regret and reconciliation.
Yep.
Basically, is what this film seems to be about. Yeah, it's is genius hard to live with, and the resentment it creates, maybe being brought up too strictly. So, yeah. Anyway, Royal Tenenbaums is great, but rank that low. It makes it feel like it's bad, but it's not.
This is definitely one that we'll have in very different places in our list. I
Yeah.
absolutely love this film, and
Hmm.
the Gene Hackman performance is incredible. He should have been nominated for an Oscar for that, which I
Yeah.
think is ridiculous that he was not. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know if it's like I've had like I was the Chaz, honestly, in this in
Mm.
my relationship with my father. And
Okay.
like I kind of feel like my brother was more of the Ritchie in this situation because like it took me a long time to get over my my own issues with my father and our relationship. And I don't know if that's something that really speaks to me about this film and makes it resonate more, but I love the vibes. I love the atmosphere about this film, and I love the cast of characters. It has such a great
Yeah.
cast. And to your point,
Mm.
like yeah, like Gwyneth Paltrow is not somebody that I gravitate to very often, but like I think she works perfectly in this. I think this is a great vehicle for Luke Wilson, as
Yes.
well. Ben Stiller, even just like the smaller role. I love Angelica Houston. She's so
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
And I don't think she gets enough credit for this film specifically, but this is one that's pretty special to me. But what do you got next?
Next I have again, I gave this another try, Moonrise Kingdom. Again, really like it, but again, I don't vibe as hard with it as other Wes movies. And this is the thing about Wes, and something you picked up on how you love Royal Tenenbaums. I'm lower on it. Very similar to my theory on Quentin Tarantino is that I think you're right, no matter what you think is your favorite Wes Anderson film, is the same with Quentin Tarantino because they all do mean so much that you can pull anything from it. They're going to mean something different to someone
Yeah.
at different times of their life, at different times how they watched it. So I don't think there's definitely not a correct answer when it comes to ranking Wes Anderson films. But anyway, Moonrise Kingdom. I have a little, I have kind of an issue with there's some creepiness in this that I just don't. I think it's a little bit uncomfortable, and I sound such like a one of those people I would normally just go, "Oh, shut up, you woke idiot." But I mean, it's not a woke comment. It's just more about watching those 12-year-old kids just dance around in their underwear. It just doesn't sit right with me, especially when I think of all these people sitting behind the camera watching it happening and filming. I don't know what the point of that was in the film, so that takes me out of it a little bit. I think they could have covered off what was going on there without them having to be in their undies. It was just a weird choice.
I I understand where you're coming from. I think one of the main points of the film is that it's like this is about two young people exploring their feelings and stuff like that. And like in context is like, do you think kids that age were messing around like this? Unfortunately, there's kids like
Probably.
this age that wind up
Yeah.
having kids um
Yes.
in the worst
Yeah.
situations. It's just I guess if you think about it in like the meta context of like yes, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
adults filming this kind
Yeah.
of thing if you put it that way, but like I think it's a very raw, honest approach to what young connection can be. And I think
Mm,
it's meant to be in stark contrast to just how like emotionally stunted all the adults are in
yeah.
this film.
Yes. That's one
And
thing I have in this film. My biggest note is that the children are adults and the adults are children in this film.
mhm.
That's how it plays.
Yeah, because like this is one of Bruce Willis's last really, really good
Yeah.
performances.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love how sad he is
Mm,
and
yeah.
genuine, and like it's
It's
Bill
very
Murray
understated performance from
with
him, isn't
yeah, with his shirt off with the axe is like I'm gonna go chop down a tree. And
it?
like Edward Norton's
Ed
so
Norton's
ignorant, but like so much
yes.
fun and
Wide-eyed
like
optimist.
yeah, and so well meaning to it, and just like
Mm,
Francis McDormand and Bill Murray, like the whole world's beating them down so much, and like Lucas Hedges, oh shit of a kid, in this movie. I love even like some like Jason Schwartzman's like small role in this is like that cousin at the camp is so much fun. I love the little vibes of like Bob Balaban popping up and doing
yeah.
like that kind of stuff and child services like Tilda Swinton doesn't have a name. She's just child services.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's cool little
like little
touches like
things
that.
like that. And
Mm,
there's a lot of this is also pretty high on for me. Like I remember this was my favorite Wes Anderson movie when I saw this originally. It's fallen down a bit with a couple other ones, but like I'll get to my rankings. But this
yeah.
is and I appreciate the point you brought up, like Wes Anderson's a kind of director where it's like you can't really go wrong with how you rank the films because like they're all
Mm,
good. It's just
yeah.
what measure of good and how much you connect with them really stands
Yes.
out.
Yep, absolutely.
Next up,
Um, Next up, I have for a first time watch, I watched recently Bottle Rocket. Really
nice.
like Bottle Rocket. It really has it feels like it feels like Darjeeling is a sequel to Bottle Rocket in
Hmm.
like it's very much a cousin of that film. I don't have a lot of notes about it other than I just really enjoyed watching it. I just yeah, I thought it was quite impressive for especially for a debut, and you can really see how Wes became Wes. There's definitely his
Yep.
touches in there, especially the way he directs and moves the camera and frames and blocks the scene, maybe. But it's also very 90s guerrilla style filming as well. Like
Yeah.
it's a bit of a combination of that. Um, but yeah, really had a good time with Bottle Rocket.
I think this is a great vehicle for both Wilson brothers.
Mhm.
I think Luke Wilson doesn't get enough opportunities, especially at this point.
Yeah,
Like he
I don't
he'll
understand
occasionally
it.
pop up in a film or two, but like Owen Wilson's so much fun in this, and he is such a jerk, this
Oh yeah, yeah,
character.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the chase sequence of him getting chased by the cops towards the end of the film is so great. Like the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
entire heist gone wrong is such a
Mm.
fantastic sequence in this film. But no, like this one, like I guess I'll throw a spoiler here. This is my lowest ranked of his feature length
Okay.
films. But it's like it's you can tell like he's starting. Like
Yes.
you
Yeah.
see what's there and what's going to be fully developed as his
There's a rawness
filmography
to
goes
it.
on. Yep.
There's definitely
That's
a rawness to it.
and to your point, like this definitely feels like that 90s independent cinema kind of feel mixed with
Mm.
like the little seeds of what Wes Anderson's filmmaking is going to be.
100%.
Next up,
Next up is a film that I honestly could see it moving down my list. Because I don't get it. I really like it, and this is going to sound really contradictory. I think it's a really fantastic film. Asteroid City has a
hmm,
great cast, has a lot of great sequences and a lot of great storytelling, but I don't get what it's trying to tell me, as much as I enjoy watching it. So that's why I've got it as low as I have.
it's I would argue that this is his most challenging film to process. And I
Yes.
think it's which is so crazy with how poor the marketing was for this movie to sell what it
Mm,
really is. Because like
mm,
this film's a play. Like it's about a making of a play. It's just that we experience the actual play going on too. And it's something I feel like deeply personal for Wes Anderson exploring his process as a writer and a creator and a storyteller. Because a lot of this film's about storytelling.
mm,
And then the in film story, the actual Asteroid City piece, is about grief and loss and the fear of the unknown.
mhm,
And also, it definitely has that like COVID kind of era vibes of like this quarantine because that was
mm, mm.
specifically added because of COVID.
Oh, really?
And yep, so that was added because
Huh.
that was something that everybody was experiencing, and Wes Anderson wanted to channel into this. And there's like I love Jason Schwartzman and Scarlett Johansson in this. I think
Yeah,
this is a
yeah.
great introduction of Tom Hanks into Wes Anderson's world. Really
Correct.
loved him as the
Yeah.
grandpa.
Steve
And
Carell as well.
which is so funny because Steve Carell was not supposed to be in the film. That was
Oh,
supposed to be Bill
really?
Murray.
Uh-huh.
And then some kind of I think he got COVID. He got sick. And so they needed somebody and they got Steve Carell to come in and be in the film. And there's so many charming elements. I few casting of Jeff Goldblum as an alien has been as inspired as that.
Yeah, I know, right?
And anything in this film that's going to stand out, that balcony sequence between Jason Schwartzman and Margot
Yeah,
Robbie
yeah.
was just something special. And
Hmm.
this film has risen since the first time I watched this in a theater. And honestly, my conversation with Rowan, Robert, and Heath about this made me appreciate this film even more. This is definitely going to be a film that I have to watch a lot, and it's up there
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Life Aquatic. That took me a long time to like. Every time I watch that movie, I love it even more. And I
Yeah,
don't
same.
know if Asteroid City will quite get there for me, but like it's definitely risen in my estimation since the first time I watched it. But yeah,
Uh, yeah, totally fair. Yeah, it might be one of those ones when I do rewatch it. I've seen it twice, and when I do rewatch it, it might grow. But at the moment, I probably think I have it ranked too high actually when I'm looking at my list. Yeah.
fair.
Next up, I have a film again I watched for the second time earlier this year, The Darjeeling Limited. I
Mhm.
really, really kind of grew into almost loving this on my second
Mhm.
rewatch. I think this is again beautifully shot. I think this is just all about the characters. This is
Yes.
also the film where Jason Schwartzman um, kicks Luke Wilson out of his typical Wes role, I suppose. Like Jason replaces Luke. This beautifully performed. It's saying so much about just the dynamic between siblings and brothers and
Mhm.
their dysfunctional upbringing too, because they're obviously going to find their long lost mother because their dad has died, and it's the whole. It's shot in India. It looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep.
The whole Jason Schwartzman on the train with can't remember her name, but he has an affair with her because you see Natalie Portman for about
Yeah, it
six
gets Natalie
seconds.
Portman, gets this like it's just
I
like
actually watched this.
look at you, Jason
I,
Schwartzman.
yeah, I actually just checked out Hotel Chevalier, which is like a prequel to this, like the short
Yeah.
between him and Natalie Portman, and it's like you're having problems being with Natalie Portman, like, and I guess this reflects into real life now. Like her husband was cheating on her. It's like it's Natalie Portman, dude. What's wrong with you? Like,
Which
but
I'll talk about Hotel Chevalier in a bit, but
yeah,
continue.
yeah, okay. No, I was just gonna say there's some really peak scenes in this, especially when the three Indian boys get washed into this from the dam into the river, and all of a sudden Adrian Brody comes back with the one that's dead, and it's just like it's just such
Heartbreaking.
it's heartbreaking, but it's said with such earnestness and
Yeah.
no there's just feeling like there's no emotion behind it the way it's delivered, but there is, like it's within him, like it's so deep. And Adrian Brody just is so great in that scene. It's like I couldn't save him type of thing, and he's got him in his arms, and you can just see the pain within him, like as he's kind of looking his two surviving brothers, and then he's got his two brothers in front of him, and it just means so much. Like it was that scene really in particular that made me that grew this film in my estimation. Yeah, really, really gelled with that. Such a really meaningful film.
This is one that I love so much more this time around. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's where I've gone in my life and how I've grown since the last time I watched this that like so much of this resonated more, but like I loved the character work that this trio of Owen Wilson, Jason Schwartzman, and Adrian Brody is pitch perfect.
Mm.
There's so much emotion. I love like this leverages such great slow-mo. There's so many great slow-mo moments
Yes.
in this film,
Yeah. Yeah.
in that Wes Anderson kind of way. And this would be ranked higher, but I just love so many of these Wes Anderson movies so much. It's hard. Like this is a legitimately hard list to put together because
It
like
is.
I
Yeah.
feel like if I when I eventually do Nolan, I'm gonna have a similar issue where it's just like I'm gonna struggle with some of these trying to rank these because it's like so many of them I have such strong feelings about. But this one was
Yeah.
definitely one that rose in my estimation this during my series and watching this again.
Mm.
Next up.
Next up, I have Rushmore. I rewatched this what I thought was 6 months ago, but turns out it's like close to 2 years ago because I'm looking at my letterbox now
Yeah.
as we talk about it. But I really enjoyed Rushmore, and mainly because Jason Schwartzman just carries this
So good.
movie so well. Like we talk about underrated actors a lot. No one ever mentioned Jason Schwartzman is underrated because you talk about his performance in Asteroid City, in this, even in Darjeeling, like he's a
Yeah.
fantastic actor, and he's just stuck in this Soho neighborhood of Wes Anderson, like in the New York Village type of style. Like they're the type of artists and creators that I picture when I see these guys making movies together. Um, but Rushmore is just a really great. This is a coming of age movie. Wes
Yep.
Anderson doing another like older Moonrise Kingdom is also kind of like a coming of age, but this is more elderly, like maybe 5, 6 years older than the other kids. So,
Hmm.
yeah, just this horny teenager acting stupid because of a crush that he has on a teacher, and yeah, it's yeah. Look, not being that it's 2 years ago since I watched it, I don't have a lot of memory, but it's
Mm.
ranked higher on my list. But mm, yeah, I probably should put Darjeeling above it, but either way, they're all like a hair apart in their rankings.
I'm contemplating because like they're around the same point in my list too, and I'm
Mm,
contemplating that too. Jason Schwartzman is so good in this, and yeah, I
yeah.
100% agree. He's one of those actors that doesn't get enough credit for just
Mm,
how talented he is,
hmm.
and that nepo baby.
Yeah,
Being
yeah, yeah.
Talia Shire's son, which is so wild. He's a Coppola. And just what he's able to bring to this, and this character is so important to this film, and he really channels it. That opening montage of like his yearbook, all the things he's a part of,
Mm,
such a great sequence. So Wes
yeah.
Anderson. Bill Murray, this is one of Bill Murray's best performances, I think. And
Mm.
like he's just so sad and also such a man child. that
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
this rivalry he has with Max. And I Olivia Williams is such a talented actor and
Yes.
does not get enough attention. Like she was in a
She's
movie
not in
very
enough.
recently that I watched called The Trouble with Jessica. And it was Alan
Okay.
Tudyk, Shirley Henderson, Olivia Williams, and Rufus Sewell as
Okay.
like a quartet for like this dinner party. And like all of them are so good. And what I appreciate about this film is all of them are underappreciated actors. And Olivia Williams like
Yeah.
popped up. She's also in the Dune Prophecy show
Okay.
on Max, which I
Yeah, not
that
watched.
was a bit much for me. I'm like, I feel like this is caught in all the weeds. But like she's just such a talented performer between this and Sixth Sense
Yes.
around the same time. And she's so good in this. Even like Brian Cox and Luke Wilson in like smaller roles. Uh, and Casal, was it Simon Casal or Seymour Casal, who
Mm.
plays Max's father? Love him. He pops up in small roles in early Wes Anderson movies. He was I think he was a Cassavetes actor. Like he was in like
Ah,
his
yes.
films and
A
stuff like
bit.
that.
Yeah,
And
when yeah, it makes sense. Cassell is, yeah, sorry, no, you continue.
yeah,
I'm just,
and like also his play at the end, that Vietnam movie, wild. Like the amount of
yeah,
detail that goes into this.
yeah, yeah.
And the petty one-upmanship of the two of them between Bill Murray and Jason Schwartzman is so much fun.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's great.
What's
Yeah, look,
next?
what's next? We're getting into the meat of it. Top four now. Isle of Dogs.
Hmm.
We spoke about that. I spoke about that in your show
Yeah,
and you with a couple of others. Isle of Dogs is just. I want to see Wes Anderson do more stop motion. I think it's a phenomenal film. It's just, I don't
love to
know.
see more.
It's yeah, just a film about. Look, I have trigger points with animals, so I really empathize with animals more on screen than I do with people, to be honest,
Mhm.
especially when they're anthropomorphized animals. This is a great voice cast involved in this.
Yes.
It's beautifully animated. It's quirky. It's weird. I love it for that aspect of it. It's Wes Anderson to a T. Isle of Dogs. It's spectacular.
Bryan Cranston, Liev Schreiber, both their voice performances are incredible. So many other
Hmm.
talented performers here.
Yeah.
The interesting sci-fi elements mixed in here,
Hmm.
like the robot dogs and stuff like that.
Oh, yes,
And
yes, of course.
Wes Anderson's idea of Japan in such an interesting
Yeah.
way. And like Alexander Desplat's score
Mm.
with like the drums and everything really works. And it's just like the stop motion's incredible. And yes, I
Yeah.
want more stop motion from Wes Anderson for sure. Which there's one more, I'm sure, coming. Another stop motion on your list. So go ahead, Adam. What's next?
Yes, well, it's not that one. It's The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Hmm.
This movie, again, this could be my number one on any given day. I adore this movie so much. Like, it's just a film about relationships. Like, Wes always has some type of relationship-based films, but this is just about that, a found family. Like, these are just people,
Hmm.
just misfits that come together. and it's just such an interesting. And again, it has some stop motion in it. Has great set
Yeah.
pieces, great set design. It's funny. It's heartwarming. It's life affirming. It's has so much going for it. Life Aquatic is, I think, in retrospect, like in years to come, Life Aquatic could be considered his masterpiece, proper masterpiece. Because I just think it's that fantastic. It is, it's potentially a five-star film in my eyes. I've only seen it twice. It's gonna grow and grow in my opinions.
I think where I said Asteroid City is one of his most challenging films from like a conceptual and thematic. I think this is one of his most challenging films because it challenges you.
It
Because like
does, yeah.
Steve Zissou is not a good guy, and Bill Murray is
No,
so damn good in this
yes,
movie.
yep,
And if it wasn't Bill Murray, I feel like this character wouldn't work as well because Bill
yeah,
Murray has that like Bill Murray charm that's like,
L-
you are a
yeah.
bastard,
I,
but I love you anyway.
he's a
Um,
lovable rogue.
yes. And because he's sad too. And I think there's things that he's really struggling with. And
Mm,
this unexpected relationship with Owen Wilson, with Ned, and
yeah,
I swear that was a Luke Wilson role. Um, that Owen Wilson
may
wound
have
up
been.
taking over because I don't know, it just gives that vibe that that would have been something like Luke Wilson would have fit perfectly into. But like
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's so good in this because it's so very different for him. And like Kate
Mm,
Blanchett, I want to see more Kate
yes.
Blanchett in Wes Anderson movies. I think she gives such an interesting performance. I think the real MVP is Willem Dafoe
I was
as
hoping you would say that.
Klaus. Yeah,
Oh, mate, he's making some choices in this movie, and it's all good. They're all good.
all
I
good.
love it.
He's
Yeah,
so
I love
great.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah.
His dynamic with Steve and then his dynamic um with Ned and that conflict. And Angelica Houston yet again so great as the wife who has to deal with a dumbass basically um who's too good for them. Jeff Goldblum as this
Yeah.
antagonistic rival character is he just so smug and there's so
Yeah.
many great scenes in those, like the stop motion with like Henry Selick doing all the stop motion fish and stuff like that. So cool. And the do 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 the Mark Mothers Boss score is so
Mm.
good. And all of the Portuguese covers of David Bowie songs is such a vibe.
Oh, what
Yes.
an inspired choice to
Mhm.
do that, though. It's kind of remarkable, to be
Yeah.
honest.
The pirate siege, wild on the ship, and then when they do the rescue mission on the island, also incredible. And
Yeah.
I think the most emotional I have ever been watching a Wes Anderson movie happens in this movie when they see the shark. That is a
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful, affecting moment. And the music and all of it, and just the performance by Bill Murray and them all stuck in that little sub,
Yeah.
just all of it. And it's so shocking with some of the stuff that happens along the way. And his best, his like that thing where it's like the slow motion walking shots, like the tracking shots and like watching people walk. The very end
Hmm.
of this movie is so great when they're all walking down the dock together
Yeah.
as team Sisu. It's just there's so many great things about this. This one has definitely risen a lot up
Yeah.
since the first
Yeah.
time I watched this, and I don't disagree that I think this might be considered one of his best films, if not his best film at some point.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, no, I agree. So I guess on to the next one. I don't have much more to say about Steve Zissou. Next one I have might be a surprise because it's not number one, but I have Grand Budapest Hotel as my number two. But
Mhm.
it's basically a tie with the next one I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
It is basically a tie. I think this is a masterclass in filmmaking, in technique, and in storytelling. This is a film that probably is, or if it's not, it should be studied in film classes because
Mhm.
it's just so incredibly engaging and immersive for these again some stop motion, some great miniature models and the way he
Yeah.
uses them. You know this is what I love about Wes when we get into the peak of his films is that you know you're watching a movie. He doesn't try and pull the wool over your eyes. He makes films like Tarantino again. Like I think they're kind of really comparable as artists because they make you know you're watching a movie. They're not putting on airs and graces to try and say this is real life type of thing. They know what they're doing and they're letting their audience know. They don't speak down to their audience. And
Mhm.
Wes just the way he films and structures shots and sets and whatnot, he makes you know that this is an escape. This is a film. This is not a real life situation. This is just a far out scenario for you to enjoy. That's what he's making. That's what art is to him. But within that, he also mixes this deepness of humanity. And Grand Budapest sells that as good as or better than anything else he's done.
Um, Spoiler, this will be my number one. This is one of my top
Yeah.
10 favorite movies of all time. I love
Mm,
this movie to pieces. It does
mm.
everything. Like,
Yes.
this is a caper, it's a mystery, there's thriller, there's like that sequence in the museum is a horror film. It's like a
Mm.
slasher film with Willem
Yeah.
Dafoe, who's so creepy in this, chasing after Jeff Goldblum in that museum. Ray Fiennes should have
What a
at bare
crime.
minimum been nominated for an Oscar for
Yeah.
this. It is
Yeah.
nonsense that he was not. And he's
Hmm.
so good in this because he's so funny, but he has so many layers. And I love Zero as a character, whether it's Tony Revolori or F.
Yes.
Murray Abraham. Him telling this story, like I would listen to him read the phone book and it would
Yes.
sound amazing. And
Yep.
that where the shark scene in Life Aquatic is up there, the Agatha and I were happy together, at least for a little while. Was just
Mm.
like,
Mm.
ugh.
Yeah, I
And it's
know,
just like
right? I
that
know.
hits in such an emotional place. It's so
Yep.
beautiful. I love Jude Law. His dynamic
Yeah.
with F. Murray Abraham is so fantastic. Saoirse Ronan is my actress for sure, and even though she's like not in it as much, I love her in this. And just the quirkiness of it all, and you know the sled chase, the prison break, all of these things, like unexpected prison breaks in movies, this and Paddington too. Like it's just that kind of vibe. And the production design is incredible. Adrian Brody is such a dastardly villain in this. He's
Yeah.
such a jerk. And like that whole thing, it's like I go to bed with all of my friends. And just like it's just like he's like, you slept with my mother. It's like, I thought you said I was gay. It's just like, well, goodbye. Like that whole entire banter back and forth is ridiculous. And them all punching each other. And like that just perfect shot of Willem Dafoe looking menacing as hell. This movie just does it all, and it is a frame narrative within a frame narrative within a frame narrative within a frame narrative. Not necessarily necessary at all, but it
Yeah.
is, and it works.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and the fact he gets it to work. This was an Oscar nominated film, like it was Best Picture nominated, right?
yes, it won 5 or 6 Oscars for all like the
Did it?
technical stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and Alexander Despot's score, I think this is his best. Like
yeah.
there's just it's so charming and like mixes all of this like Eastern European Russian um music into it as well. The
Yeah.
Mr. Mustafa theme is just such a beautiful little piece of music for sure. But
Making
yeah,
me want to watch it again.
I want to watch it right afterwards.
Yeah, 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 me same. Because it's just such a cozy, comfortable watch too. Like you
Yeah,
sit in and you're sucked straight into this story.
yeah.
Um, it's a
Well,
fantastic film.
number one. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Adam.
insert drum roll here. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I mean, this movie speaks to me. I'm a Roald Dahl fan since
Yeah.
childhood. I read all of his books in primary school, elementary school, you guys would call it. Read everything he did. Love the guy, and this film could not have been given it any more justice. Like it's
Yeah.
perfect. Again, stop motion Wes is for me best Wes. this great voice cast, great voice acting. If you've seen behind the scenes on how they film this, the voices, they're actually acting out the scenes. They're not just in a studio. It's so fucking fantastic how they do that. Like I just
Yeah.
love everything about it. It's exciting, it's exhilarating. The characters of these animals and just the cross culture of these animals, it's perfect. Like this is my vibe all over. I don't necessarily think it's his best movie because I've spoke about Zissou and Grand Budapest, but it's my absolute favorite of his for sure.
This movie's perfection. No
Yeah,
notes would would
yep,
not change a
yep.
thing.
Five
The
stars
music,
done.
um, Let Her Dance at the very end, so charming. Street Fighting Man, with all the like bulldozers and everything. Like all the musical beats are so fantastic.
Yeah,
The score that mixes spaghetti western vibes and everything. Alexander
yeah,
Desplat's having so much fun. George Clooney is the the perfect casting for
yeah.
a fantastic Mr. Fox.
Meryl
And Meryl
Streep as his
Streep is
wife
so
is
good.
yeah, yeah.
And Jason Schwartzman as Ash is just like, where's my bandit hat? And he's just like, this movie's infinitely quotable. And just like, we missed the fox, but we got the tail. Michael Gambon is so good as
Mm.
Bean, the leader of these horrible farmers. And the one of the funniest gags in the history of film is replacing every curse word with the word cuss.
Yes, cuss. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like
Again, it's just those
I
Wes choices that just are superb, right?
well, I've listened to all of your advice, and I'm going to choose not to listen to it. The cuss you are. Are you cussing with me? I'm going to cuss you out. um, I use cluster cuss on a pretty regular basis.
Oh, really?
It's just, and Willem Dafoe is that rat. It's like, she was a town taught in her day. It's just like, is that true? It's just like, it was a different time then. And like Kylie too, Wolodarski is so
Whoop.
great as
Yep.
Kylie. Ah, oh, is that your thing? It's just like Kylie. I
Yeah.
can't tell if you're paying attention to me or if you're hearing me. Can you do like some? Oh, is that it? Was that it? There's just so many great moments in this movie. So charming. Well, let me run through my ranking here. My number 20 at the bottom is Bottle Rocket, the short film version. Because there is a film version
Yes.
of this where you could definitely tell like he's just playing out, like
Hmm.
practicing kind of stuff. Number 19 is Come Together, which was an ad. Basically, it was a short film advertisement on a train with Adrian Brody.
Hmm.
Number 18 is Castello Cavalcanti, which
I
was a
did watch that one.
fun little racing one with Jason Schwartzman in it. My number 17 is The Swan. Rupert Friend, so good in this. Just really commits to the bit. Number 16 is Poison. A lot of the short films didn't quite crack like the feature length films, but like these Wall Dahl ones are so fantastic. Benedict Cumberbatch and Ben Kingsley and Dev Patel, so good in this really
Oh,
tense one.
yeah.
My number 15 here is Bottle Rocket. So, like
Yep.
I mentioned, that was going to be at the bottom for me. Number 14 is Ratcatcher, the Ratcatcher. This makes me want to see a real horror film from Wes Anderson
Yes.
because it is
Yeah.
so creepy and Ray Fiennes is so good. My number 13 is Hotel Chevalier, which
Hmm.
this is the sexiest I think a Wes Anderson movie has ever been. And that
Yep.
doesn't happen much because that's not really like what he's going for, but like I
No.
felt it
It shows
between
what he can
Jason.
do, though, right? It shows if he
Yes.
wants to do it, he can do it. Yeah.
Natalie Portman is just electric in this. Just like,
God. Oof.
yeah,
No
woof.
notes.
Um, number 12 is the French Dispatch. My number 11 is Darjeeling Limited. That might change. I'm contemplating like number 10 is Isle Dogs. I know I'm lower on that one than you. Number 9 is Rushmore. My number 8 is the Phoenician Scheme.
Mm.
This is very fresh.
That's high up.
Um but like I really, really love this, and I thought this was fantastic, and it it's a new kind of film for Wes Anderson to be tackling. Benicio del Toro's amazing in it.
Mhm.
Um, Alexander Desplat's score is so fantastic too, giving off that vibe. Number seven is Asteroid City. Number six is A Life Aquatic with Steve Sisu. My number five is actually The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I love this. This
Yes,
is like
it's yeah.
I also grew up a Roald Dahl fan, reading all of his books and everything. And I remember
Hmm.
reading this in school. This blew me away. The like 1900s, 1910s style of manipulating like in Georges Méliès version of like playing around with the sets and everything while
Yep.
doing it's like it was so
Yes.
creative and everything. Benedict Cumberbatch is so great in it. It's just so good. I love every moment of this 40-minute film. My number four is Moonrise Kingdom. My number two is Fantastic Mr. Fox. Number three is Fantastic Mr. Fox. Number two is Royal Tenenbaums, and my number one, which is going to surprise nobody, was the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's made me so happy just going through and rewatching all of his films because I love Wes
Yeah.
Anderson. And
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to my Miyazaki journey. So I will be doing a ranking of
Me
my
too.
Miyazaki films when I wrap this up. And I'll do one for Hitchcock too. That'll just take considerably longer.
That'll be a long episode. Yes.
It'll be a long episode.
I
I
have a
am
ranking
sure
on my
Adam would love
letterboxd.
to be on for that one specifically. So
Well, mate, I'm all in for Hitchcock whenever. I don't think I'll
no,
be watching all 70 of his films, isn't it? Or
60. But no, I completely understand that. I'll just speed run. Hey, I did a speed run of all 80 John Ford in a ranking
Mm.
video. So, but Adam, thank you so much for coming on and talking some movies with me.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, as always.
And please go check out my series on Wes Anderson if you wanted more of our my thoughts and others' thoughts on these films. I have each episode on my YouTube channel here. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.